Hi, my name is Adrienne Omis, and this is our final project for the Women's Professional Wear Trends.
Hello, my name is Shane Cawthorn. I'm a senior at Indiana State University, and I'm a textiles, apparel, and merchandising major. And today we are discussing women's professional wear, ages 25 to 35. The women of this demographic are considered millennials of the age 25 to 35. Um, a lot more of these women are graduating from universities and taking on higher positions in a variety of corporations. Um, this generation is all about promoting wellness in terms of physical and mental health, creating that good balance. They're also about accepting individuality, um, you know, challenging non-conforming traditional ways, of problematic ways of thinking, in terms of racism, homophobia, sexism, toxic masculinity, and more. Um, these women are also tech savvy because they grew up with technology. The same time technology grew, of course. Um, they are very influential in their communities, as well as their social networks. When it came to our preliminary research, we found quite a few trend labels and mega trends that it adheres to this current target market. One of the trend labels would be the power casual trend. While many changes have happened in our society, people are adjusting to going back to work, adjusting to the changes, that COVID has, affected them. So people are trying to find that work-life balance. This is where the power casual trend comes in because it provides that comfort, uh, as well as um, provide pieces that can still be worn at work as well without taking away the comfortability. Um, the next trend label would be the minimalist trend. This trend is all about incorporating classic pieces, and providing versatility with minimal uh, minimal pieces, which is great for people who have a less disposable income, but still want to find good quality pieces that can last in their wardrobe. Um, One of the mega trends would be the Save Our Society mega trend, which is, how our country is rediscovering a social conscience of ethics, empathy, and compassion for everybody. Um, these terms are not new in our society. It's just gotten to a point where these are applied to everyone, not just some people. Businesses have also taken strides to better understand and accommodate this way of thinking. This definitely relates to this target market as they are about expressing individuality, equality, in the workplace as well as everywhere else. Um, the next mega trend would be the cashing out trend. Um, People are questioning in their career and in their personal lives, um, opting out for a simpler way of living. As mentioned before, this could be in terms of the minimalistic trend in the wardrobe. This is definitely a way how people are, transitioning to a more different way of thinking. Um, for our target market, minimalistic wardrobes will definitely be a trend for professional wear as well as everyday wear. Um, a lot of people do things like decluttering their homes, downsizing their wardrobe and their homes, in order to have a more simpler way of living. And lastly, the other mega trend is the evolution trend. As mentioned before, women take up most of the shopping population, which is why companies are seeing that, you have to adhere to their needs. This is the largest part of our shopping population. And one brand that comes to mind is the R Collective, where women's wear, is being reused. The materials that are used in this brand are reused excess materials from luxury brands and reputable manufacturers. This definitely relates as our target market does prioritize a more green environment and looks for companies um, that has a purpose, that has meaning, that has environmental goals as well as social goals as well.
This is the 2021 mood board for women's professional wear. It has really been inspired by the return to the office after the pandemic. I feel like that transition was a very kind of big time in people working in professional settings' lives. After working from home, being kind of secluded for such a long period of time, not being out, not being around your coworkers, having to do everything through Zoom. A little bit difficult of a time for a lot of people. So the return to the office after the pandemic involved, especially within fashion, involved a lot of bright colors. This included red and yellow as really prominent ones of these, which is really what the mood board has been centered around. Just using these bright, happy colors to kind of raise our spirits as we're coming out of the pandemic and kind of slipping back into normalcy. This is the 2021 trend board for women's professional wear. These are the things that I had kind of seen across the board for most collections this season. A lot of bright colors that included red, that was the most common color. Um, a lot of like tan and like camel colors, again, that like warm neutral color becoming a lot more popular. The use of faux leather, which is definitely a classic, but has become really popularized this season as it becomes a little bit more versatile in different styles. The same goes for turtlenecks. Turtlenecks were really popular, um, like popularly used this season. Saw them worn a lot of different ways. Sometimes they're kind of like oversized and they're like the statement piece themselves. Sometimes they're used to be layered, and they're just used a lot of different ways this season. Um, and women's suits are also seen as a staple for women's professional wear, but they've been kind of coming up a little bit differently lately. Whereas a traditional suit, they've kind of been playing with the crop of the suit, the way things are fit. Sometimes the jacket's oversized, sometimes the pants are oversized. You see in one of the examples they've actually played with the collar and how the jacket sits, or they've included a vest and things like that. They're just the trends that have kind of been happening in women's professional wear this season.
During the interview and survey conducted, we were able to gain more insight into women's professional wear. While current trends do not usually adhere to professional dress codes, we feel that future trends for this group will follow a more minimalistic and classic approach. After conducting our survey, we've learned that brand loyalty is definitely a factor in this demographic. This relates to an analysis by Research Nester that states when it comes to women's professional wear, brand loyalty and brand recognition are key business strategies adopted by major leading players. With the effects of COVID and many changes made in terms of how people view professional wear, retail analysis, Avery Fagan and Krista Corrigan have projected how these changes will affect individuals' choices of professional attire. Um, they believe that individuals will prioritize hybrid clothing, putting longevity first and fabric innovation. Our projections correlates well with their findings that we'll be looking for clothing that can transition from the couch to conference room, having lasting qualities to adhere to a less disposable income, and fabric innovations such as moisture wicking and stretching properties.
This is the 2026 trend board for women's professional wear. These are our predictions of where the fashion industry is headed within the next couple years. Um, we have said that there is going to be sort of this trend towards environmentalism, as environmentalism kind of becomes a little bit more popular within the fashion industry. I believe that trend is going to keep going up, and it is going to get even more popular. More people are going to start becoming aware of how much the fashion industry negatively affects the environment. And so people are going to start making, consumers are going to start making steps towards being more sustainable, and that is going to lead towards retailers and designers really making steps towards wanting to be more sustainable. And the theme is actually sustainable minimalism. And this kind of goes with using more neutral colors, things that can go with more things. You can wear them more often, a little more versatile. The neutral and natural color palette. That natural color palette kind of comes from a subconscious desire for wanting to improve the environment and being more connected with nature. People who love nature tend to wear more natural colors, and as the love of nature becomes a bit more popularized, we predict that it is going to show up a lot more in fashion than it already does. I touched on sustainability. We're going to be using slow fashion more than fast fashion. Classics are going to kind of become the driving factor rather than trends being the driving factor. We're going to see more classics being used and bought. This is more aligned with slow fashion, as I said. So just bringing it back to nature again, that sustainable minimalism, having a closet that is versatile and of higher quality and can last a long time and is eventually better for the environment is where we believe we'll be heading in for the 2026 women's professional wear.
To conclude, we project that while current trends does not adhere to this target market, minimalistic and classic pieces will be the better option. While changes in our society have affected disposable income, lasting and good quality items will be prioritized. We also feel that natural and neutral tones will also adhere to dress code policies while still showing expression in good taste.